So someone's been targeting you. It may be more than one person. It could be in the present day, or maybe this was in the past. But yeah, they were attacking you, trying to diminish your light, I feel, trying to make you feel bad about yourself, trying to make you appear bad to others. But they were desperate to hide the real reason why they were targeting you, okay? So that I feel they were spinning some sort of narrative about you. And it's like they were totally trying to destroy your reputation, totally change how people see you. But let's look very deeply into why exactly they were targeting you. Because they've been trying to hide this. We have the 8 of Cups. Interesting, walking away. This may be you walked away from this person, the 8 of Cups. And this really triggered like some childhood wound within someone. And they felt you had the audacity. So someone could have been targeting you, attacking you, destroying your reputation, because in their mind you had the audacity to walk away from them. I feel as though with this sun and the moon image, this could be someone who wore a mask, like there's 2 sides of them. It could be like a Jekyll and a Hyde. So with this shooting star, it's like their biggest wish to punish you, I feel. They were vulnerable. They were trying to hide their vulnerabilities. I'm definitely feeling as though it's either this person, or there may have been several people. So other people or this person or both was also doing this because of an insane amount of jealousy, okay? I feel like there's an innocence within you. This is like your inner child. You had to walk away. Some of these cups are slightly broken. And this represents them trying to really destroy your self-esteem. So it's like they were pretending to turn their back on you. They were pretending that, you know, you're such an awful person, that they're shunning you. But they may have been doing this very publicly. But yeah, this is definitely because they're targeting you because you had the courage to walk away, okay? With the broken cups, they may have somewhat, not destroyed, somewhat affected your self-esteem, because for the most part, these cups are intact. But you knew this was a toxic situation. You knew these were toxic people, so you walked away. You turned your back, and they felt rejected. This is some sort of narcissistic wound. So they were going through some sort of narcissistic collapse. So they wanted to throw all of the pain that they were feeling back at you. But also insane amount of jealousy, I feel. Again, both of these cards have come out on the reverse, so the back turned, okay? And again, look, here's this child here. Someone could, you know, try and pretend that they're really tough, they're really strong, they're trying to hide like their wounded inner child by taking it out on you, okay? So this is the Hierophant. Yeah. Someone's been insanely jealous of like people looking up to you. You're some sort of spiritual leader, okay? You may have been hidden with the mask on in this image. You may have been hidden somewhat. And they were taking advantage of you. They couldn't see the real you to begin with. You may have known deep down that these people were toxic, so you were sort of protecting yourself around them right from the get-go, I feel. Like who you truly are, you were shielding, you know. Someone may feel as though you deceived them, but really it was your self-protection. They were deceiving you, they were two-faced. But the Hierophant, someone's really afraid, like they're terrified of you knowing and everyone else knowing that they feel deeply insecure when it comes to you, because there's a lot of people that look up to you. There's a lot of people that deeply respect you. You're very well respected, I feel. I feel like a lot of people like you, or they're drawn to you because you have this big heart. You're some sort of healer, I feel, spiritual leader, or you know, you're very empathic. You could give a lot of guidance throughout your life. You may have had people come to you for advice or guidance. People see you as wise, okay? So they were going over the top to try and destroy your reputation. You know, the more that you're respected, the more that you are like this benevolent, loving, caring soul, they would have gone out of their way time and time again to try and make out you're the opposite of that. But secretly they were just very afraid of people knowing that they were jealous of you, okay? So they were trying to make out that they believed and they thought that you were this terrible person, to try and make out like, why would they be jealous of you when you're so bad, you're so terrible yourself, kind of thing. But really they were just projecting a lot of wounds. They felt abandoned, okay? There's a lot of their own abandonment wounds playing out here. They wanted everyone to abandon you, okay? This is how selfish they are. They lack empathy. They couldn't care less if they completely destroyed your life and destroyed your relationship with others, destroy how people see you, you know, your reputation. But I'm hearing people know your true character, okay? They were going so over the top, trying to say you're the opposite of who you are, that they've made a complete fool out of themselves, okay? Anybody who knows you, they knew immediately that these people were just envious, they're just jealous, and they were just trying to completely destroy your life because of their own toxicity, their own wounds. They were trying to use you as a scapegoat, okay? They've been desperate to hide the fact that they're really evil, they're really selfish, they're really unconscious as well in doing this by, you know, trying to make you appear so bad. They were trying to rid themselves very subconsciously from their wounds. They were trying to trade places with you, like destiny swap. They were trying to be the victim, play the victim. This was their desperation, okay? They keep creating this pattern within their life where they're rejected. People walk away from them. People have to get away from them because they're so toxic and they drag people down and they're selfish and they do evil things. So naturally people have to get away from them, and they have this very destructive pattern. So they've been rejected, abandoned. People have walked away from them. People have cut them off a lot. It's their pattern. They don't know how to get out of it. They don't know that they're operating from their pain, okay? But they were trying to use you as a scapegoat. They were trying to project all of that onto you and have you go off because you were already walking away. They wanted you to go off with all of their sins, so to speak. They wanted you to have absorbed all of this shame that deep down they feel. So they've been desperate to hide the fact that they're very vulnerable in their pain, but they totally go about trying to rid themselves of this pain in evil ways, in destructive ways, in selfish ways. They were wanting to be loved, okay? They were trying to trade places with you and play the victim. They were wanting to be loved. They were wanting to be in the limelight. You may have been in the limelight in some sort of way, and they targeted you because they thought, oh, there's a lot of eyes on you. So they can play games and try and destroy all of that and have all the eyes on them. So again, wow, with the Magician in reverse, this is very much about the trickster energy. It's about manipulation. It's about smoke and mirrors. They were wanting to feel all powerful, okay? I'm telling you, you have some sort of spiritual authority. Like, you're a very powerful soul. You're what they would call an old soul. You're very connected with the infinite, with your higher self, spirit. And they were envious of this, okay? A lot of this, it could have been going on subconsciously within them, but they were triggered. It's like they thought you were an easy target to begin with because you were somewhat sheltered, or your true identity was somewhat hidden because you were protecting yourself. But then in having to walk away, your true self, your true strength, your true power of the light within you came out very powerfully. And they wanted to feel, they're used to feeling all powerful in quotation marks, but really it's to disguise, you know, they're desperate to hide the fact that they are very afraid deep down. They feel very vulnerable. With these images of the two children here, they're desperate to hide their vulnerability. So they try to turn their backs, they try to reject others to feel like they have the power as well. And this is maybe what they try to do by trying to destroy your reputation. They're rejecting you because they were fearful that you were having to walk away from them. But yeah, they believe they've created this illusion of being all powerful, but really it's just to disguise immense fear. So this is coming out as them being aggressive, being over the top, by being coercive, being very controlling, argumentative, destructive, chaotic. The drama like follows them wherever they go. They create that drama, okay, with the Magician. That's what they create. And look, this infinity symbol, it's all about, they attract to them the energy that they're putting out. We all do, okay? But they're attracting a lot of chaos. They don't love themselves. What they don't want anyone to know is that they don't love themselves. They're abandoning their own self. They're trying to take control, okay, by avoiding the wounds within them, the wounded inner child. Secretly they're avoiding that and trying to mask over that and trying to be dominant and trying to do a lot of things and create a lot of chaos and drama as a huge distraction for themselves, so they don't have to introspect, and a huge distraction for everyone else because they want all eyes on you. They were feeling the shame. They were like, oh my God, because they knew you had to walk away because of all of these evil and toxic and abusive things they were doing to you. So deep down they were like, oh my God, they could be exposed for this, and they couldn't bear the pain of being exposed or having to face the truth within themselves. So that's why they turned everything outwards, you know, trying to get the emphasis on you apparently being a bad person, you being the abuser, or you being the toxic person. It's all to avoid the wounds within them. And it came out again with the back turned. This is the Knight of Pentacles. I'm telling you, this is what I was saying about the law of attraction. Whatever you put out into the world comes back to you. And this is a very positive card. This was them envious of you having so much positivity in your life because you plant very positive seeds, okay? You come from a place of your authenticity. You come from a place of your heart. You have a lot of empathy. You are opposites of telling you you are like night and day. And they were trying to switch places. They were very much operating from their shadows, very much operating from low vibration, unconsciousness. They were envious that you are mostly, no one's perfect, it's not completely black and white, okay? But you mostly operate from the light, your heart, your empathy, your intuition. You want good for others, you want good for yourself. You're very selfless. They're very selfish. You're very selfless. This is why they were taking advantage of you. Their selfishness, their greed wanted to take everything that you'd already built up for yourself, and they wanted it all for themselves. Again, wanting to trade places. So they were envious, okay? They're like, again, a lot of this could have been subconscious, but they're like, how the hell have you created all of this abundance in all areas of your life? What they're like, why do people like you so much? Because they were so determined in their own mind to hate you. They were so determined to only focus on supposed flaws and exaggerate in your flaws, and they were refusing to see your good qualities, because deep down they know that you're this benevolent person, and it really triggers them because they feel a lot of shame within themselves. They know that they're not nice people, and they know that a lot of people also know that they're not nice people. So you plant so many positive seeds, and this is what you manifest, okay? You are the true power here. You're coming from a foundation of confidence, of self-worth. You have an abundance. This is why you're coming from your heart. This is why you express your heart. This is why you're so giving to others. Yes, you may have had insecurities throughout your life, and you may have had people-pleasing tendencies because in your mind you doubted yourself somewhat, but deep down below the conditioned mind and the wounds and the negative self-belief, deep down you've always known, you've always felt the foundation of being this benevolent soul, being this loving, kind, nurturing person. You've known that deep down. It's almost like you had to go through this situation with these toxic people for you to really anchor yourself into that truth that you've always known, even within yourself. But you, like I said, you had doubts. I feel like people have throughout your life tried to sow the seeds of doubt within you, so that became like these anxious thoughts. But the thoughts, the mind, is something so small compared to the truth of the entirety of your being. The truth of your entire being is where your intuition, you just knew. You've always known that you're this loving, kind, generous person. And like I said, this situation, they've actually helped you to become very grounded in knowing that truth, because it's almost like they came into your life. Again, whatever we give out comes back to us. So you, on the surface level, on the smaller level of the mind, because we're the infinite soul, we're not the mind, okay? On the smaller level of the mind, like I said, you had negative beliefs, you had self-doubts, you were beating yourself up. I'm telling you, you are very empathic. You have high levels of conscience. You have a big conscience, okay? Like the tiniest little things you could beat yourself up about. And it's like you store this shame and self-doubt and self-blame, and it became like something really big in your mind, but it's an illusion. You're being too harsh on yourself, okay? But it's like these people, these toxic people came in and they were telling these lies, and it's like the manifestation of how you were telling your own lies to yourself about not being good enough or being this evil person or bad person or whatever was going round and round in your mind. The limiting beliefs on that surface level came back to you in the situation, but these people have been telling absolutely ludicrous, ridiculous lies about you that are so out of character, okay? Like, they're so not who you really are. And it was so obvious to you and to everyone else that it's made you realize that it was representing these negative beliefs that were on repeat in your mind. And you would have been like, no, this isn't who I am. And them demonstrating how selfish, how toxic, how evil they are, because they couldn't care less about completely destroying you and your life and anyone else who may have got in the way, or using anyone else and trying to destroy anyone else's life just to get at you. You know, it became very obvious to you that you're nothing like that. These people don't even care how evil they are, and yet here you were beating yourself up over the most minuscule of things, and maybe subconsciously holding on to that for years or decades. Or, like I said, others may have been planting seeds in your mind telling you you're a bad person, all because of the same reasons as why these toxic people were trying to use you as the scapegoat. So you've realized a lot of things, that you had a lot of limiting beliefs that are out of alignment with the truth of who you really are. So these people, they're furious, okay? They wanted you to fall down, but you've risen up through all of their nonsense. It made you realize that you are this incredible person. You're nothing like them. Why the hell have you been beating yourself up? When even in this situation, all this chaos, you still remain true to yourself. You still remain balanced, harmonious. You still remained being fair, stoic. You may have even been opening your heart very deeply during these darkest days that these people were trying to create for you. So they're really annoyed because they've made you rise up even more, so much more powerfully. Yeah, look, the world, this is the ending of that chapter of you seeing yourself in a bad light. This is the ending. They had no power over you, okay? They could only have power over you when they were attaching themselves to your mind and manipulating your thoughts. And that was the old pattern that was keeping you stuck throughout your whole life. Negative, self-doubt in the mind, which isn't a reflection of who you really are. This is the final card in the whole tarot, so that's the complete ending of that. There's a rebirth here. This is you loving yourself. I always see the world as you rising up and seeing the bigger picture. You've experienced great ascension through this experience. It's over, they can't control you anymore. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, this is the reversed side. They were trying to create a lot of misfortune for you. In reverse, it normally shows the devil at the top of the wheel. I'm telling you, this was like dark forces, if you believe in that, or these people were operating from their shadow so much, like they were very low vibrational, very unconscious, very much operating from evil, All of this darkness, all of their shadow has eclipsed any empathy that they may have once had. And yeah, I'm hearing rule the roost. They wanted to rule the roost. And I never use that saying. But this is, they were trying to interfere with your destiny, with your fate, with, your life. And what happens to you, but they don't have that control. They don't have that authority. They may, they were wanting to direct all of this evil and bad intentions towards you. And yeah, you may have temporarily experienced some negative consequences of their actions. But ultimately, like the infinity symbol, what they give out is coming right back to them. That is the truth of it. the most powerful karma and negativity is all coming right back to them. It's their own vibration. It's what they saturate themselves within. Their mind saturated with this shadow, this darkness, and desire. You know, they had such an extreme desire to destroy you that was created a very powerful emotion, which meant the energies were even more powerful that are coming back to destroy them. This is how they keep having this self-destruction. Your ideas are important. I'm telling you, they're envious of you being like this important soul in this world, like that spiritual power that you hold. Everybody, you know, has the capability of accessing this within them. We are all powerful, higher dimensional beings. We all have the ability to tap into that and really activate that and really operate, you know, live our lives through that. But these toxic people, they're very, very much off course, shall we say. They're not in alignment with that side of them whatsoever. So this is why you are this very powerful soul. In this lifetime, your ideas are important. They may have tried to laugh at your ideas. You could be very empathic, you could be psychic, you could be telepathic, you could express the divine, or whatever it may be for you as an individual. They would have laughed at your ideas. They would have tried to make you feel strange or weird or wrong. Again, it was all them desperately trying to drag you down, because they were threatened. They felt jealous of you being confident, you being in the limelight, you know, whatever that means, limelight, you know. They were so afraid, they were terrified of feeling wounded, feeling that jealousy, feeling inadequate. And they wanted to punish you for it. They wanted to destroy any opportunities for you to be shining bright and confident, and people looking up to you, or people respecting you, or people loving you. And they did really backhanded things to try and piggyback off of your success, to try and be in the limelight or the center of attention in some sort of way by playing the victim, like, oh my God, look, you, the viewer, are not anything like you're making out you are. They wanted to be the messenger of that and be in the limelight through doing that. But it's all failed, it's all backfired, because you have the power of your authenticity. Their lies are made up so they don't make sense. They get caught up in a web of lies. There's holes in their story, but you are the ultimate power, because you speak from your heart. You speak through your authenticity, and it all makes sense. And people aren't dumb, okay? People, everyone has an intuition, right? And people are very wary. People have been very aware intuitively as well. Like, they reek of this darkness, they reek of this evil, and you exude, for the most part, because no one's perfect, but you exude like this light so powerfully. There's no one like you. They're envious of your uniqueness, and I'm hearing they're envious of your confidence to express your uniqueness. They go around life wearing a mask. We can all do that, but they wear a mask purposely to manipulate people for their own gain. You may have worn masks to protect yourself because you felt insecure about who you really are. But now it's like, and even, you know, when you knew these people, or these people were in your life, you may have somewhat being confident, like in your truth, expressing your uniqueness, maybe expressing your spirituality, expressing your heart, your beautiful divine expression. You could be someone who's very creative, and they were envious of this, like it's like they're saying to themselves, and maybe even to you, who the hell do you think you are? Being so confident, because again, they're hiding themselves away because they're really not loving themselves, and they're envious of you loving yourself. They feel like, why have you had it so easy? Like, they may have had no idea the challenges that you've been through in your life, the difficulties, the trauma that you've been through. In their mind, they think, oh, you've had it easy. You know, what right do you have to have all this happiness and abundance and stability and confidence? So they try to take it all away from you. They try to take a shortcut and steal it away from you to feel better about themselves, rather than actually introspecting and doing the inner work. The reason why you are a very powerful, strong soul, and coming from a foundation of unshakable confidence and knowing deep down who you really are, and you know that on all levels a lot more now, is because you have the courage to look into yourself and do the inner work and be honest with yourself and heal yourself. But they're not willing to look into themselves. So again, it all comes back to them desperate to hide their insecurities, their vulnerabilities, by trying to make you feel vulnerable, trying to make you feel shameful. Your thoughts are magical. You are this magician, okay? You are a powerful manifester. And you have positive intentions. Again, this is all the positive seeds that you've planted, the positive energy you send out there, and that comes back to you. You focus for the most part on like happiness, joy, what feels right for you, what feels good, and you truly empathize with others. You want others to shine, you want others to heal and feel safe and secure, and all of these wonderful things. Your thoughts are magical. This is you like manifesting everything, every positive thing that you've put out there is coming back in, and you're ridding yourself. You're questioning those negative limiting beliefs. You're weeding those out. So you are manifesting in even more positivity, abundance, happiness, stability, and feeling secure and confident within yourself. And they may have really helped you to see what kind of limiting beliefs you need to weed out. You are wonderful in so many ways. And a lot of people are seeing this, okay? They've helped you come out from maybe, you were wearing masks, or you were protecting yourself behind some sort of walls, hiding yourself away through self-protection. And this situation, it forced you out of your shell, okay? They initially took advantage of you because they thought that you were, well, they didn't realize you're such a powerful soul. And they thought that you were, easily believing that you're a bad person, and they saw you, again, this could have all been subconscious, they saw you as this perfect target to use as a scapegoat and put all of their shame onto you. And maybe that worked somewhat initially, but you are realizing, the more that they tried to make you feel bad about yourself, the more they tried to tell you you're not good enough, and all these negative things they were saying to you, the more you realized they're wrong, the more you realized they were out of their mind. The more you realized they were just trying to make you feel bad, to make themselves feel better. So ultimately, they've made you realize so much more truth about you being wonderful in so many ways, and you're really embracing this within yourself. And this whole situation, you loving yourself, you coming from your authenticity, you expressing from your heart, it may have drawn in, the crowd that these toxic people were trying to surround you with, because they wanted all of these people to witness your downfall. All of these people have witnessed who you really are as you're coming out of your shell. and they are seeing that you are wonderful in so many ways as well. So if you've appreciated this reading, please consider buying me a hot chocolate by leaving a super thanks comment below. All donations are humbly appreciated. Thank you to everyone who's already donated and sent a super thanks in the comments. It really does mean a lot to me. If this reading has resonated with you, please let me know in the comments. Give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe. That all really helps me out with the algorithm. Thank you so much for joining me here. Take care. Bye.